In the brutal world of Cretaceous period, one predator reigned supreme, Tyrannosaurus Rex. But even the king of dinosaurs wasn't invincible. This is the story of an unlikely challenger, a smaller predator that dared to take on the tyrant lizard and left its mark. 65 million years ago, this T-Rex met its match. The proof is etched in its bones, a testament to a battle for the ages. But who was this mysterious opponent? And how did it survive an encounter that should have been certain death? Join us as we unravel one of the paleontology's greatest mysteries and rewrite the story of life in the age of dinosaurs. Tyrannosaurus Rex. The name alone evokes images of power, ferocity, and prehistoric terror. To over a century, it's captured our imaginations, staring in everything from groundbreaking films to children's bedsheets. We've cast T-Rex as the ultimate predator, the challenged king of dinosaurs. But what if we told you that even this mighty beast had something to fear? This isn't just any T-Rex. The skull you're looking at belongs to a specimen paleontologists have nicknamed Triceratops Rex, and it's rewriting everything we thought we knew about life in the Cretaceous period. When we first examined this skull, we were shocked. The injury pattern was unlike anything we've seen before. It wasn't from a fall or even a fight with another T-Rex. No, this was something else entirely. The mystery deepened as the team analyzed the wound. Whatever had attacked this T-Rex was significantly smaller, but had managed to inflict serious damage and lived to tell the tale. To understand this David and Goliath story, we need to turn back the clock, way back to a time when the world was a very different place and danger lurked around every corner. Welcome to the late Cretaceous. 66 million years ago, the air is thick and humid, the land dominated by strange plants and even stranger creatures, and somewhere out there a predator is about to make history. To solve the mystery of Triceratops Rex's injury, we need to meet our unlikely hero. But here's where things get complicated. For years, paleontologists have debated the existence of a dinosaur called Nanotyrannus. Some say it's a distinct species, while others argue it's just a juvenile T-Rex. But whether it's its own species or not, the evidence suggests a dinosaur matching its description may have been our T-Rex challenger. Nanotyrannus, if it indeed exists as a separate species, would have been like T-Rex's smaller, feastier cousin. Imagine a predator about half the size of T-Rex but potentially twice as fierce. At around 70 feet long and 1,000 pounds, Nanotyrannus was no lightweight, but compared to the 40-foot 7-ton T-Rex, it was practically a welterweight boxer going up against a heavyweight champion. But don't let the size fool you. Nanotyrannus had a few tricks up to its sleeve. First, those teeth, razor sharp and perfectly designed for slicing through flesh, and that skull, built for speed and precision. This was a predator designed for quick, brutal attacks. Experts believe Nanotyrannus was likely more agile and its larger cousin. It could dart in, strike fast, and get out before its prey knew what hit it. Think of the difference between a lion and a leopard. Both are apex predators, but they hunt very differently. T-Rex was the lion, powerful, dominant. Nanotyrannus, more like the leopard, sneaky, opportunistic, and pound for pound incredibly strong. But not everyone is convinced. The debate over Nanotyrannus' existence has raged for decades. The fossils we found could very well be juvenile T-Rexes. Dinosaurs changed dramatically as they grew, and we need to be careful about creating new species based on limited evidence. It's a controversy that divides the paleontology community to this day, but whether Nanotyrannosaurus was its own species or a young T-Rex, the evidence suggests a dinosaur of its size and shape tangled with our Rex. So let's imagine for a moment that this is our culprit. How could a dinosaur half the size of a T-Rex possibly survive an encounter, let alone inflict serious damage? To answer that, we need to reconstruct one of the most epic battles of the Cretaceous period, a fight that would go down in prehistoric history if only someone had been there to see it. The story of this epic battle is written in bone, but to read it, we need to become prehistoric detectives. This isn't just a scratch. The injury on Rex's skull shows signs of healing, meaning our T-Rex survived the encounter, but it was a close call. What we're seeing here is evidence of a powerful bite. The spacing of the tooth marks suggests an attacker with smaller jaws than an adult T-Rex. But the force behind the bite, that's what's truly astonishing. The depth and shape of these marks tell us that the attacker managed to clamp down and hold on, even as the T-Rex likely thrashed to shake it off. Based on the evidence, experts believe the attack might have gone something like this. Our smaller predator, whether a Nanotyrannosaurus or a juvenile T-Rex, likely ambushed Rex. Using its agility, it could have leapt up, aiming for the only place it could do real damage, the head. With its powerful bite, it latched on, using its sharp teeth to puncture through the tough skin and into the bone beneath. Rex would have fought back ferociously. One swing of its massive head could have spelled doom for the attacker, but somehow our David held on. In the end, the smaller predator managed to disengage and escape, leaving Rex wounded but alive. But the skull tells us even more. There are multiple bite marks suggesting this wasn't just a single lucky shot. Our challenger came back for seconds. This wasn't just a random attack. The pattern suggests intentional, repeated strikes. It's possible our smaller predator was trying to take down prey much larger than itself. It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy we see in some modern predators, like honey badgers attacking lions. It's a reminder that in nature, size isn't everything. Ferocity, intelligence, and sheer nerve can sometimes overcome raw power. But why would a smaller predator take such an enormous risk? To answer that, we need to step into its claws and understand what life was like for a mid-sized predator in the shadow of a T-Rex. Welcome to Life in the Food Chain's Middle Management, where you're both the hunter and the hunted. 65 million years ago, this was no walk in the park for a mid-sized predator like our T-Rex challenger. Life was a constant balance. Too big, hide from the apex predators, too small to compete with them head-on. So how did they survive? The answer lies in a combination of smarts, speed, and specialization. Think of today's medium-sized predators. Cheetahs outrun their competition. Wolves use teamwork. Eagle strikes from above. Our Cretaceous underdog likely used similar strategies. When you're not the biggest kid on the block, you have to get creative. These mid-sized predators probably hunted in packs, targeted specific prey, or developed unique hunting techniques. Pack hunting would have allowed them to take down larger prey, sharing the risk and the reward. It's a strategy we've seen in modern wolves and lions. But they might also have been masters of stealth, using the dense Cretaceous forests to their advantage. Quick, agile, and with razor-sharp senses, they could have been the perfect ambush predators. Their teeth and claws tell us another story. These weren't just weapons, they were precision instruments. The skull shapes, the arrangement of the eyes, the teeth, everything points to a predator built for speed and accuracy rather than brute force. While T-Rex might have been the bulldozer of the Cretaceous, our challenger was more like a surgical scalpel. But life wasn't just about hunting. Sometimes survival meant knowing when to scavenge. Stealing from a T-Rex kill, high risk but potentially high reward. It's a dangerous game played by smaller predators throughout history. We see the same behavior in Africa today. Lions may be the kings, but jackals and vultures thrive by being opportunists. This delicate balance, hunting, scavenging, avoiding larger predators, shaped our challenger's evolution. Every adaptation from its keen senses to its agile body was a response to life in T-Rex's shadow. It's a beautiful example of evolutionary pressure. The presence of T-Rex likely pushed these smaller predators to become faster, smarter, and more adaptable. In a way, T-Rex made them formidable in their own right. And sometimes all that evolution paid off in spectacular fashion, like in our Rex encounter. But if our challenger was so well adapted to avoid conflict with T-Rex, why did it take such a huge risk? To answer that, we need to look at T-Rex itself and the harsh realities of life at the top of the food chains. We've cast T-Rex as the ultimate killing machine, an unstoppable force of nature, but the fossil records tells a different story. Broken ribs, bite marks, heel fractures, these aren't just battle scars, they're windows into a world where even the king of dinosaurs had to fight to survive. People often think of T-Rex as invincible, but that's far from the truth. These animals lived hard lives full of conflict and injury. Some injuries came from battles with their own kind. Territory, mates, food, all worth fighting for even if you're at the top of the food chain. But here's the kicker. Many of these injuries shows signs of healing. These weren't just killing machines, they were survivors. And it's not just T-Rex. We see similar patterns in other large predatory dinosaurs and in modern apex predators too. From Allosaurus to today's lions and tigers, the story of the same life at the top. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Apex predators face unique challenges. They need huge territories, lots of prey, and they often get injured hunting. It's a high-risk, high-reward lifestyle. For a lion, broken leg could mean starvation. For a T-Rex, the stakes were even higher. Which brings us back to our Rex. It's our testament to T-Rex's resilience. Imagine trying to hunt multi-ton prey with a pounding headache. That's essentially what Rex had to do. The fact that this T-Rex survived such an injury is remarkable, but it speaks to their ability to adapt and overcome, but it also suggests they weren't invulnerable killing machines. They were animals subject to the same risks and challenges as any other predator. This vulnerability might explain why our smaller challenger took such a risk. In the world of predators, showing weakness is an invitation to attack. If a T-Rex showed signs of injury or weakness, it might have embedded in other predators to take a chance. High risk, sure, but potentially high reward. In nature, opportunities like that are at great personal risk. Opportunities like that are rare. A predator that's learned to exploit them, even at great personal risk, might just survive long enough to pass on its genes. So perhaps our David and Goliath story isn't so unusual after all. It's a reminder that in the struggle for survival, every advantage counts, no matter how small. But this encounter didn't just impact two individual dinosaurs, it was part of a much bigger picture. The complex dance of predator and prey that shaped entire ecosystems. The battle between Rex and our smaller challenger wasn't just a one-off event, it was part of a complex web of interactions that shaped life in the Cretaceous. Predator and prey, big and small, every species played a role in this intricate dance of survival. What we're really talking about here is ecosystem dynamics. Every action, every adaptation had ripple effects throughout the entire food web. Let's break it down. At the base, we have plants, the primary producers, and come the herbivores from the tiny to the titanic. But it's the predators that really stir the pot. They keep herbivore population in check, which in turn affects plant life. Having different sizes of predators like T-Rex and our challenger meant that a wider range of prey species were kept under control. This diversity of predators drove prey species to evolve various defense mechanisms. Horns, armor, speed, all responses to predators had to up their game too. It's an evolutionary arms race, predators and prey constantly adapting to each other, driving innovation in body plans and behaviors. Our T-Rex challenger, for instance, might have evolved its speed and agility precisely because it lived in a world with T-Rex. We see similar dynamics in modern ecosystems. In Africa, for example, the presence of lions influences everything from the behavior of hyenas to the evolution of gazelle speed. The more things change, the more they stay the same. These fundamental ecological principles have been shaping life for millions of years. But there's more. These complex interactions didn't just shape individual species, they influenced the entire trajectory evolution. The presence of apex predators like T-Rex created opportunities for smaller predators to specialize. This specialization led to a greater biodiversity, which in turn made the entire ecosystem more resilient. It's a bit like the economy. The more diverse the jobs, the more stable the system. In nature, diversity equals stability. So when our smaller challenger took on Rex, it wasn't just a battle between two individuals, it was a microcosm of the forces driving evolution and shaping ecosystems. Every bite, every dodge was the product of millions of years of evolution, and the outcome of this battle would have its own ripple effect, influencing future generations. As we piece together, these ancient clues were not just learning about dinosaurs, we're uncovering the rules that govern life itself, rules that still apply today. Understanding these dynamics isn't just academic, it has real implications for how we manage and conserve modern ecosystems. By learning from the past, we can better protect the complex webs of life in the present. After all, we are part of this ongoing story too. But how do we know all this? How can we be sure about events that happened 66 million years ago? To answer that, we need to look at the cutting-edge techniques bringing the past to life. Welcome to the cutting edge of paleontology, where 21st century technology meets 66 million year old mysteries. Gone are the days when paleontology was just brushes and pickaxes. Today's fossil detectives have an arsenal of tools that would make CSI jealous. We're not just looking at bones anymore, we're peering inside them, analyzing their chemical composition, even reconstructing soft tissues that haven't existed for millions of years. Take CT scanning, for instance. Just like doctors use it to look inside the human body, we use it to peer inside fossils without damaging them. Remember, Rex's injury? CT scans revealed that the extent of the damage and the healing process is incredible detail. But that's just the beginning. At the microscopic level, fossils are treasure troves of information. By looking at the microstructure of bones, we can determine a dinosaur's age, growth rate, and even whether it was suffering from diseases. And then there's the chemistry. Bones absorb elements from the environment over an animal's lifetime. By analyzing analyzing these elements, we can reconstruct ancient diets, migrations, even climate changes. It's like reading a dinosaur's diary, written in the language of atoms. But to really bring dinosaurs to life, we need to see them move. That's where biomechanics and animation comes in. By combining fossil evidence with our knowledge of modern animal locomotion, we can create incredibly accurate simulations of how dinosaurs moved. See the similarities. By studying living animals, we can make educated guesses about extinct ones. It's a blend of hard science and artistic interpretation. We start with the fossil evidence factor in things like muscle attachment points and body mass, and then use animation to fill in the gaps. The result? The most accurate depictions of dinosaurs ever created. Remember our David and Goliath battle? This reconstruction is the result of hundreds of hours of scientific analysis and artistic collaboration. Every movement, every bite is based on hard evidence of our best understanding of dinosaur biology. We're not just guessing anymore. These reconstructions are testable hypotheses. If new evidence comes to light, we can update our models accordingly. And it's not just for documentaries. These technologies are revolutionized, and we study and teach paleontology. Imagine being able to walk among dinosaurs to see them in their natural habitats. It's not just cool, it's changing how we understand these ancient creatures. From this to this. It's a journey across 66 million years made possibly by the marriage of science and technology. And we're just scratching the surface. Who knows what new technologies will reveal about the dinosaur world in the upcoming years. Hit that subscribe button now and press on the video now popping on your screen. I'm sure you will love it. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and see you there.